of the season for Colorado. The Pirates begin the night 30 games over 500, 90 and 60. Second big league team to get to 90 wins after the Cardinals. And a lot of Pirate fans here in town. See them walking around downtown today. And Ben Hurdle certainly knows this area very well. Knows this ballpark very well. How to win here. Take a look at the Toyota starting lineup. Josh Harrison leads off tonight, plays second base. Then Polanco, McCutchen, Ramirez. Starting Marte goes in the 5th spot. This month, Marte is hitting .313 with 7 extra base hits, and he's homered in his last 2 games. Francisco Cervelli back behind the plate. Michael Morse makes the start at first base tonight. Jordy Mercer hitting 8th, and Jay Happ will bat 9th against the lefty Chris Rusin. Josh getting a start at second base. Clint Hurdle getting a right-handed bat in there against the lefty. So we're going to see more regular lineups down the stretch, and this may be the left-handed lineup that we see against guys like Rusin.
Yeah, take a look now at Rusin's numbers, and I guess with the Coors Field effect put in there, the numbers really aren't that bad. The ERA just a tick above 5. That's I guess like say 4.5 somewhere else, which is okay. One of the things I was looking at earlier about him, not having a lot of success with that changeup of his. That's going to be something we look for. And I really don't think of our guys that much as changeup hitters, but perhaps tonight they will be.
See what they do. Need to get some more hits, more runs. Need to take care of what they can take care of in front of them. We'll be keeping an eye on the scoreboard, including the Cincinnati-St. Louis game that is ongoing as well.
That's the one I'm watching.
That is perhaps the most important one tonight.
There's no perhaps about it.
And how about this? First pitch of the ball game is a base hit to right field. The Pirates pick up where they left off last night. Jay wastes no time, and he is on base. Take a look at the defense for the Rockies, presented by Honda. Nolan Arenado, the third baseman. Christian Adames is at shortstop. DJ LeMahieu, the second baseman. Willeen Rosario is at first. Dustin Garneau is behind the plate. Brandon Barnes in left, Charlie Blackmon in center, and Carlos Gonzalez in right field. Walt Weiss is the manager. Going through a difficult season here in Colorado, 63 and 87. Last place in the West. Polanco trying to drop down a bunt. Arenado was playing deep and off the line, so good opportunity for a guy like Polanco to lay one down. Arenado in a few more steps this time. Chris Russin is 28 years of age. He is out of the University of Kentucky.
When you look at his splits, it doesn't really make a whole lot of difference, right-handed and left-handed.
Getting back Jay.
I was surprised today when I looked at him. 308 lefties, 308 righties, right down the middle. Maybe Polanco take advantage of that.
Wilson looks over at Jay Hay. Josh gets back again. Josh with 10 stolen bases on the season. Gregory's had plenty of opportunities to face left-handers, and he's done well against a number of them, including one of the best in Clayton Kershaw. And he slaps this one foul and out of play. When the Dodgers were at PNC Park and Kershaw was on the mound, Polanco led the Pirates half of the first off with a home run. Then he had a big double off of him in L.A. during the recently completed series. Here facing another lefty in Russin. Nobody out, one on, and the pitch coming after the throw to first. Well, Russin pitched perhaps the game of his career on the 16th of August against the Padres. A complete game shutout, gave up just 5 hits. But since then, 5 starts, he has an ERA of 9. Polanco hits a ground ball slowly to second. LeMahieu will flip to the shortstop Adames to get the out there. Well, one man is out. Was there another close call with Robbie? I don't know. Robbie got hit in L.A. and he's trying to save the fan behind him.
You know, the truth, I did lose that one in the lights.
Did you really?
I made the effort for it. It avoided my chest. We're good to go.
Are you wearing a chest protector under your
Not
shirt?
tonight. I was very graciously offered one by Chris Stewart. I politely declined.
Nice.
Got to play hurt, man. It's okay.
One out, Polanco at first base, and Andrew McCutchen is at the plate. McCutchen has walked 7 times in the last 2 games. 4 times against the Dodgers Sunday, 3 times last night. Pitch inside, stopped by Garneau. Dustin Garneau, another good young catcher that the Rockies are giving time to in late September. Tom Murphy started last night, hit a home run. Pauline Rosario, who is holding Polanco on at first base, had done a lot of the catching in the past.
Get back, get back. It's awful far. I think he's going to go, don't you?
I think he'd like to go for sure.
I think he's got him measured. He had a big lead that time. I go back and forth thinking, who's the more aggressive at trying to steal bases? It looks like he's kind of shortened it up, though. Polanco or Marte?
Polanco with 26, Marte with 27. They've each been caught 10 times. Three and 1 is the count to Andrew McCutchen.
Leaning again.
Throw to first, and Gregory back easily.
Sometimes you'll see guys early take a big lead to try and draw a throw. They want to see what that pickoff throw looks like. But they're really thinking about doing nothing but getting back to the bag.
McCutchen has walked again. 4th time in the series. That's his 8th walk in the last 3 days. The Pirates with 1 out, runners at first and second for Ramos Ramirez. Ramirez, another RBI last night. Had 2 of them actually, with a first inning home run and then an RBI base hit in the 9th. And Keon Broxton made his big league debut and ran for him. Ended up coming around to score. Ramirez has 4 home runs in his last 5 games at this ballpark. And RBIs in 6 straight games here. Takes ball 1.
He's got 6 RBIs off Russin. Just 11 at bats.
Career 2 home runs against him. And you see his numbers with runners in scoring position. 308. 2 on, 1 out, top of the first inning. Two balls, no strikes. Rivers Casino tips to win tonight, Bob.
Well, because Rammer hits Russin so well, I'm saying he's going to do the damage tonight, and then when it's all said and done, it's going to happen. We know what that means. Well, it's just amazing how good Happ has been pitching with that black and gold uniform on.
Like a new guy.
Yeah, it's like, you look at the 2 guys that are tips to win, Ramos and J. Happ. Well, has there been any better pickups of anybody anywhere around baseball?
They both produced.
Neil Huntington just an amazing job getting a Ramos and Happ.
And the 2-0 pitch to Ramirez. In the air to right field. Playable for Gonzalez. He'll make the catch, and Polanco will head to third base. Here comes the throw. And Polanco is in.
Well, got in just a little bit on Ramos's hands. Ramos, as he was walking back, he was looking at the scoreboard screen. He wanted to see where that pitch was. He felt where it was, and on the handle. How great would that have been if it would have been deflected? There's Neil Huntington.
Neil Huntington. Dan Fox is with him in the Pirates front office, helping with baseball information on this road trip. 2 outs, runners at the corners. Marte looks at Russell, swing and a miss. Marte in his career at Coors Field is 8 for 11. A 4-hit night last night. Half of those hits came in last night's ball game. Came a triple shy of the cycle. 2 singles, a double, and a homer. One ball and 1 strike to Starling. Marte has had a penchant for the game-winning RBI too. Leads the National League in that category. He's got 17 game-winning RBIs. Only player in the majors with more is Toronto's Josh Donaldson with 19. And this one into right field, a base hit. Pirates on the board. McCutchen turning second, heading for third. Will they wave him?
Oh,
yes, they're going to wave him. Oh, and he stopped.
Oh.
McCutchen stopped. Sofield was waving him home, and McCutchen stayed at third.
When I said, oh, look at that, it was because the ball got away down in the corner.
McCutchen would have scored standing up.
Yeah, without even a play. The ball was mishandled.
Well, what a break for the Rockies.
Gonzalez comes over to try and get it, and he misses it. Now has to turn and run it down. And there's 2 outs. I mean, you're just kind of, you're going. He scores all day on that. Cervelli scores on that twice.
Last night he did. The other corner. And here is Francisco. So it's a 1-0 lead. 2 runners in scoring position. You could see Sofield, he held his arms up until he realized the ball got past Gonzalez, and then he waved McCutchen home, and McCutchen stopped. See if Cervelli can get the $2 on the pond in right now. And he's in the hole, 0-2. Marte, another RBI for him. When he's batting 5th, he starts to pile up some RBIs. Got his first one in his first at bat tonight. 5th hit of the series already. Cervelli down the right field side. Will it stay fair? No. A sliced foul.
You can kind of tell by the way Cervelli was reacted to it. Just kind of jogging down the line. He saw it. He knew it was going to be foul. He's got the best look.
Calling for it high.
Threw it where the catcher wanted it.
Still 0-2 on Cervelli. 245 with 2 outs and runners in scoring position this year. Hangs in there. Pirates scored 2 in the first in game 1 last night. They've got 1 so far in the first tonight. It's left-hander Chris Russell, McCutchen at third base, Marte at second. And Jay Happ will come out and pitch with a lead in the bottom of the first inning. Here comes the 0-2 from Russell. 1-2. Garno wanted that pitch up high. Walt Weiss has struck that pose a lot this year. Arms folded. Look, it's been another down year here in Colorado. And Clint knows what it feels like because he had a few down years here himself. 2-2.
And they've made the postseason twice in their existence. It's a tough place.
3 times.
Oh, 3 times.
3 times. Won the pennant 2007. Swept through the playoffs on the National League side, then were swept by Boston in the World Series. Because they swept everybody and Boston played a full allotment of games, they had to wait almost a full week before they could start the World Series. Michael Morse on deck. 2 outs, 3-2 pitch from Chris Russell. Cervelli fouls it into the glove of Garneau and strikes out. Pirates get 1, and they leave 2. But miscommunication at third base resulted in McCutchen staying there. Take a look at the Rockies lineup as they come to bat in the bottom of the first inning against Jay Happ, Charlie Blackmon. Christian Adames will play shortstop tonight. Nolan Arenado last night a career high 4 strikeouts, and he was frustrated. Carlos Gonzalez in the 4 spot. Willeen Rosario bats next. DJ LeMahieu the second baseman. Garneau the catcher. Barnes the left fielder. And Russin the pitcher batting 9th against Happ.
Take a look at the numbers we've been talking about for Happ. Those great numbers brought to you by Hyundai. They are fantastic. Just amazing. It seems like he's getting better and better. It's the best numbers so far this September. The way he's picked up his strikeouts. 26 strikeouts in just over 18 innings.
One thing that's been successful for him has been that elevated fastball. And why is it successful for him? What
I don't know. I was looking over all of these percentages today of how he was throwing with the Pirates and before, and there's not really a ton of difference. As far as what's going on, the big difference in result is the fastball. They're not hitting the fastball.
1-0 to Charlie Blackmon.
He's throwing a few more of them. The control numbers, fastball wise, not that big a difference. I mean, he's throwing 67% of his fastballs for strikes now, 62% of them before. That's not a huge difference. I think.
Oh, good pickup by Ramirez. Throws quickly to first. Dug out by Morse, and there's 1 out.
I think that the answer lies in the quality of the strikes more than anything else. That he's probably staying out of the hitting zones a little more often. As you said, moving the ball up and down, in and out. Not giving in, but he's been able to do that at the same time keep his walks very low. A lot of times when you see guys really worry about staying out of the middle of the plate, walks start going up a little bit because they're always trying to pick here and there. His walks aren't going up at all. Those September numbers where he's got the 26 strikeouts in 18 innings,
yeah,
he's only walked 2. So, I mean, everywhere you look, it's just some amazing stuff.
Well, last time he faced the Rockies,
I guess it was just Ray Surge magic again.
I guess so.
It didn't take long, though. I mean, it was like instantaneous. All he had to do was put on that Pirate uniform. He's transformed into an ace-type pitcher. You look at the numbers, find me another ace that is better. Maybe a couple that have been doing as well, but none better.
Happ with a 1-ball, 2-strike count on Adames, the young infielder. Adames made his big league debut with the Rockies last year, appeared in 14 games with them, and then up and down this year. He's recalled on the 1st of September from Albuquerque, one of a number of young Rockies prospects getting an audition in September. And a strike 3. Cervelli throws down to complete the strikeout. There's strikeout number 1 on the night for J. Happ. 2 men out.
You know, one of the things that you can't really find on any of these percentage sheets or any stat sheet, anything like that, is what's going on in his head as far as confidence, and really, believing probably more than at any other time that, hey, I'm really good. I can do this.
Arenado up in the air to right field, and Polanco's got it. It's a quick bottom of the first. 1, 2, 3 go the Rockies. Heading to the second inning. Pirates 1, Colorado nothing.
Let's go places. And by Barrel Automotive, we're driven to be better. Let's go Bucks.
Bucks lead 1-0 going to the top of the second inning. It's Tuesday night in Denver, Colorado. Pirates looking for another win after taking game 1 last night by a 9-3 score. And Michael Morse leads off against Chris Russell. This must be a pretty good ballpark, you'd think, for Morse to hit in. As strong as he is, he's got to run into a few home runs here by accident, you'd think. He played more regularly in this park. 1 ball and 1 strike to Morse.
Where was it the other day? We were in some park that had numbers that were 400 batting average or something. Wasn't that just
Milwaukee.
Is that Milwaukee? Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Miller Park, he just kills it there. Generally against the Brewers, but mostly there.
No, another good hitter's ballpark. Yeah, you look around places like here, Milwaukee, Great American Ballpark, Cincinnati. It's definitely places where hitters have great numbers.
Pretty good here. 16 RBIs in 16 games at Coors Field.
Yeah, that's real good. It's a pretty good pace for a season. RBI a game.
You take 162 RBIs.
Yeah. You'd win a Hank Aaron Award with that.
At least a Hank Aaron Award. You'd even have to make up another award. Ball 4, and Morse is aboard. Leadoff man on for the Pirates. Jordy Mercer will come up next. So Morse reaches base. What a night Jordy had last night. His third career 4-hit game. 2 RBI doubles, 2 base hits. He scored 2 runs. And Jordy is a guy who right now could do the Pirates a big favor, get hot at this time of the year, especially with Jung Ho out for the rest of the year. Down at the bottom of the order, they could use some production out of Jordy. Mercer ground ball toward the middle. Adames, long throw to second base with a backhand, and just in time to get Morse. So 1 out. We want to see your strongest fan photo. Use the hashtag PittDataStrongFan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. Brought to you by T-Mobile. I'll show you a picture a little later in tonight's telecast. They came dressed and ready. So did they. Jay Happ looking to bunt. Foul ball, strike 1. Mercer at first base with 1 out. Happ has 2 sacrifice bunts this year, just 1 hit. We'll look to see him lay one down here and get Jordy into scoring position for Josh Harrison. Lays it down out in front of the plate. Good job by Happ. Sacrifice is good, and there are 2 men out. Mercer at second. Get on board with the Pirates for next season. The Pirates are now accepting deposits for full and partial season ticket memberships. Get access to exclusive events, the best locations and savings, and customizable memberships. Plus 2016 full and half season deposits. Receive 2015 postseason access. For more information, go to pirates.com/membership. Josh Harrison up with 2 outs. Pirates up 1-0. Top of the second inning. The Rockies, by the way, are 19-68 when the opponent scores first. That's a good news stat for the Pirates right there. Josh is 1 for 1. He singled in the first. Russon's 1-0 coming. Harrison takes a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike to Josh.
The last pitch, a little cutter. Russon will try and run that ball inside on the right-handers. Not really a true cutter like Melanson's because he doesn't throw at the same velocity as his fastball, but it works like a little short, hard slider that tries to jam guys with.
1 ball, 1 strike offering. Harrison down the third baseline. That's a fair ball. Mercer can walk home. Josh can speed around first, And around second, he's got to put the brakes on. It's an RBI double with 2 outs for Josh Harrison, and the Pirates up 2-0.
Now that time he actually got the slider, which is even a little bit more slower, and hooked it. It luckily kept it inside that bag. Sometimes when you hook that breaking ball that's down and in like that, it's hard to keep fair. And as always, you love it when Jay Hay's running the bases. He never takes anything for granted. He is off and moving.
Just that close. Allegheny Health Network Supermo slowing it down. Arenado, a very good defensive player. That ball hit too sharply for him.
Jay Hay, he was looking for 3 the entire time. He was going to keep running as hard as he could till he made it.
And Polanco is going to make it 3-0 with a base hit. A pair of back-to-back hits with 2 outs, producing runs. And these guys have all the symbols.
Well, that one there would have been a point at the head base hit. Smart hitting. Where they're not.
RBI number 48.
So he missed his spot by a lot. Catcher way outside. Ball stays inside. Saw a lot of that in yesterday's game. The pitchers just weren't throwing the ball anywhere near where the catcher's glove was.
The pitching coach, Steve Foster, comes out to pay a visit to Chris Russell. Russell was acquired by the Rockies just about a year ago. September 27th of last year. Claimed off waivers from the Cubs. Pirates had seen him in a Cub uniform in the past. Walt Weiss looking at a 3-0 deficit for his club. And here is McCutchen, who walked his last time up. .298. 22 home runs. He's 1 RBI shy of his career high of 96. Two balls and no strikes. You got to wonder how much McCutchen's going to see to hit tonight.
About as much as he's seen in the last week.
Hasn't been much. .2-0. Got something to hit there, and he clubs it out to left field. Brandon Barnes waits for it and retires him. 2 runs come in on 2 hits. There was a man left. It's 3-0 after an inning and a half.
That's the theme around Pittsburgh. A lot of teammates and coaches and the staff, everybody misses Jung Ho Gung, including fans here. And he has another fan back in Pittsburgh that really missed him but was able to pay a visit, and that is Christian Hurdle. That is Clint's 10-year-old son, who went on his own to visit Jung Ho Gung, spent about 30 minutes with him. They were able to communicate pretty well, of course. Interpreter H.K. Kim was there to lend a helping hand. And how about this? He made Jung Ho a big get-well-soon card, the only card Jung Ho has received to this point in his recovery. It was a really cool moment. Clint Hurdle struggled with him when Jung Ho went down and said, hey, it's hard to tell a 10-year-old kid to man up when your favorite player goes down for the season, as Jung Ho and Christian Hurdle developed a pretty good relationship. So it's kind of the resounding theme here about Jung Ho. Everybody wants him to get well soon. Everybody misses him, Tim.
Swinging bunt from Gonzalez. Cervelli throws him out. Yeah, and I've seen Christian Hurdle and Jung Ho in the clubhouse together playing video games on the iPad together and laughing, and they have a good time together. And Christian wears a Jung Ho Gung jersey when he comes to the ballpark. So they've developed a little bit of a bond, that's for sure. And if the Pirates do clinch here tonight, and they should clinch here this week at least, if they clinch the postseason, it'll be kind of bittersweet without Jung Ho, because he's done so much to help the Pirates get to where they are this year.
No, absolutely. It's, I wouldn't go as far as to say they wouldn't be here without him, but what a huge role that he played. And I really thought when his role picked up and he started moving from the lower part of the lineup into that middle part of the lineup where he was hitting cleanup and fifth right in there, that's, I think, when the offense really started clicking. That bat speed of his, that power bat driving the ball gaps over the fence, that really played well. He's going to be quite a force in this league for a long time.
1-1 pitch to Willeen Rosario. Now it's 2-1. Looks like that caught Brian Knight, home plate umpire. But as far as Jung Ho is concerned, and how the Pirates have moved forward, they were deep enough where they could certainly have guys, regular players, fill in for them. It's not like they had to. Ouch, that hurts.
Good catch.
It's not like they had to go down to a prospect or something. They had plenty.
Well, no,
they had a regular shortstop, regular third baseman they could play.
I mean, you had the injuries before to Jay Hay and Mercer, and so they had to cover those and really bring in Aramis. So that if there was one area where there was depth, it was over there on that part of the infield. But that really doesn't matter, because you still can't replace him. I mean, he was a legit Rookie of the Year candidate.
Yeah. 2-1 pitch. Rosario in the air to right, deep. This ball is
foul.
Gone. A home run for Rosario, and the Rockies on the board. 3-1. 6th home run of the year for him.
Well, when you come in here as a pitcher, you think about the long ball, obviously. And you just tell yourself, okay, give up a couple. Kind of like pitching with the wind blowing out at Wrigley. I'm going to give up a couple. I just do my best to minimize the damage and make them solo shots. And by doing it, you try not to walk anybody, that sort of thing. And there is going to be one or two that get out. Hopefully it just means one run.
Well, Rosario doesn't hit many of these. His last one was June 23rd against the Diamondbacks.
The ball started to fade a little bit toward the end. I was hoping it would get over by that foul pole. Balls just don't slice as much here at this elevation as they do down lower sea level, Allegheny River level.
Yeah, you're right. You don't see that here. You don't see the slice and the hook as much. Must be a gravitational thing.
I think it's the spin and the thin atmosphere. The spin's the same, but it's just not doing anything. There's no air.
Well, Mayhew fouls one off down the right side. 0-2 to him. Yeah, somebody sent me the gravitational formula of such and such. I'm not really sure even what it is.
So there's less gravity up here?
I know it'd be because we're higher, gravity would pull it down, I guess.
I think the higher you get, at one point you get so high that gravity doesn't pull anything down.
Yeah, we're not quite that high. Happ strikes out LeMahieu. That's strikeout number 2.
Kind of happy that there's that place up there, because then the moon doesn't come crashing down.
Good pitch right there on the corner. Pitcher's pitch.
Excellent job. That one right where he wanted to.
Yeah, we're only at 5,280 feet. I say only. But you can get.
Is that the field level or where we're sitting?
We're sitting closer to 5,280.
No.
Field level's probably a little below
it. 5,280. Is that blue line up there?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 5,280 feet. I think Jeremy Burnitz is the only guy to hit one up there.
He hit it a mile high. Huh?
He did. I literally say he hit it a mile high. Well, if you go west a little while, you'll start to run into places like Mount Evans, and I think that's one of the first what they call 14ers. They get to be about 14,000 feet. The trees don't grow above 12,000, so when you see those mountain peaks without trees, that's why. Not enough oxygen up there. Air gets thin. Imagine how the ball would carry up there.
Pretty well.
Nobody on, 2 out. Wayne Rosario, a solo home run, getting the Rockies on the board. Dustin Garneau, 188 hitter, and there's the score from DC, 4-1 Orioles. If the Orioles win that ball game tonight, and the Pirates win here, you need the Giants to win. Giants to lose, rather. The Pirates would clinch. So 2 strikeouts in the inning for Happ. Tonight's Allegheny Health Network injury update focuses on some injuries from around the National League Central. Reds outfielder Billy Hamilton's season is over. He'll have surgery on his right shoulder. He's expected to be fully healthy in time for spring training. Ryan Braun is out of the Brewers lineup for the 4th straight day because of his back. He'll require surgery when the season ends. And the Brewers also shut down pitcher Jimmy Nelson. He's on the 60-day DL now. Play things safe after he was hit in the head by a line drive last week. And his former teammate is at the plate right now, and Aramis Ramirez to start things off. Wayne Rosario, a 390-foot home run. And Jay Happ with 3 strikeouts over 2 innings so far. 3-1 Pirates lead. And Ramirez takes outside for a ball. Pirates offense last night in the first 2 innings produced 3 runs on 4 hits. Tonight in the first 2 innings, 3 runs on 4 hits.
Well, they had a good plan, I thought, last night. It really worked out well, so why change it?
That's a very good formula to follow.
Got to execute it, though. So far, so good. What did he end up with last night? 9?
9 runs. Two and two to Aramis Ramirez. Aramis flying to right field first time up. He likes hitting in this park, though. Goes to right field again, and it'll be playable for Gonzalez. 1 out.
He knows which side has the 375 sign and which side says 390. You notice that?
Yeah, I do. Did notice that. Point Park University tweet: does the thin air have any effect on the announcers at all? Well, where do we begin?
Well, I know that I have a tendency to hydrate more after the game at this altitude.
Yes, you do. You need to hydrate.
So,
you need to have
that does have the effect.
You need to overhydrate, because once you're thirsty, it's too late.
Yeah.
So that's one thing you need to do. That row of purple seats, that signifies 5,280 feet. And you know what they've done? That rooftop bar that we show you up there earlier, it's at 5,280. The bar itself, they measured at 5,280 inches, just to keep with the theme. There was a new addition here last year, the rooftop. They changed the stands.
It really
made a really nice area up there.
Really nice area up there, and they didn't need a gazillion extra seats that they had in this place. But that, I think, makes a great place for people to stand up there and watch the ball game. Just something different. It gives the park a uniqueness. I mean, you don't see anything like that anywhere else.
That's a great addition. Marte fouls it off.
I mean, you see, some parks have a couple bars here and there you can look at, and where you can see the field, but nothing that size. I mean, it just goes on and on from the foul pole. I mean, all the way out to almost dead center field.
2-2 pitch. Marte hits it on the ground to third. Arenado spinning, throwing, and getting Marte. 2 men out for the Pirates in the top half of the third inning. The next University night is for Pitt fans, coming up Wednesday, September 30th against the Cardinals. By purchasing your tickets online, you can join fellow Pitt fans and alumni for a night at PNC Park, and you'll receive a Pirates cap in Pitt colors, too. Tickets start at just $19 to receive your hat. Purchase tickets at pirates.com/Pitt. Nolan Arenado, nice defensive play. And they say that a lot about this guy around here. Base hit for Cervelli.
The Rockies, a good, solid defensive club, period. A lot of good glove men on this team. You know, one of the things I really enjoyed in last night's game was watching Cervelli run. I'd like to see it again.
They keep oxygen, by the way, in the runway, in case you're interested, downstairs on the way to the clubhouse. And that's one thing that I think he needed after not one but 2 sprints home from first base. Mercer doubles. Uh-oh. Cervelli on the move, and he's going to make it.
Yeah. Look at him smile. Oh, he is so much fun to watch play baseball. He does things with just a little bit of flair. He doesn't overdo it, but just enough. Did they call a balk on that?
That's what I'm understanding.
Oh, wow, I didn't see that.
Morse a swing, and that's a strike.
Well, I'm going to give him a steal on my card. It'll be the only thing on my card, as a matter of fact. Where's his name?
What card?
Where's his name? Right here. Oh, right there.
Okay. Bob's got a card tonight.
Steal. There it is.
Yeah, I just got word from the.
For me, he stole it
from a score. It is a balk. And a swing and a miss by Morse. No balls and 2 strikes. First base umpire Vic Carapazzo. Calling the balk.
That's all right. I still got the Cecil Valley run.
0-2 from Chris Russin to Michael Morse. Broken bat looper into right center field. They're going to send Cervelli, and you can watch him run some more. Pirates lead it 4-1 on a broken bat, 2-out RBI single for Michael Morse.
Watch Cervelli run, and that's fun to do.
Not so fun to say.
I think he's going to head down for some little oxygen.
That bat just blows up.
Yeah. My gym teacher had one like that with a flat side. Junior high school.
Keep you in line?
Well, just like that he's laying down.
Didn't use it for baseball, I take it.
No, it was kept in his office.
Discipline. Jordy Mercer will take ball 1. Mercer reached on a fielder's choice and scored a run. See, hydration.
Yeah,
you got to hydrate.
Is it going for the 0-2?
I think he's going down for the 0-2.
0-2 and a Gatorade. What a great combo.
245 the average for Jordy. The Pirates pick up the run that Rosario got with the home run. So it's still a 3-run ball game.
I think bats become brittle in this thin air. We saw a lot of them come apart yesterday.
Yeah, maybe if it's aspen wood or something. White ash. Wouldn't be aspen. But the white ash.
I don't think aspen would make a very good baseball bat. It's not really a
no
very hard wood, I don't think.
It's not at all.
Pretty bark, though.
I just said that because I had to look at 6 dead ones yesterday.
Pretty bark. Nice yellow leaves.
This time of year they're turning. Count is full, 3-2. Morse will run on this Russin pitch. Jay Happ on deck. 4 runs on 6 hits for the Pirates. Payoff pitch to Mercer. Outside ball 4. And this will get the Pirates on the other side of Jay Happ at least. Maybe he can help his own cause. 2-out walk issue to Jordy.
What, we've got 62 pitches now for Russin. He's getting that elevated a little bit. Just we're in the 3rd inning.
You have the feeling Walt Weiss will be making the bullpen parade again tonight.
Well, there's plenty of them out there.
Got 14 arms to use. Last night he had 4 pitchers come on consecutively to get 1 out each. Jay Happ swings and misses. Cervelli's recovered from his base running. Oh, 1 now to Jay. 0-2. Before tonight, Bob, Pirates starting pitchers 898 in the 3rd inning, 7th in Major League Baseball. The Rockies starters 797 in 2/3 innings, last in baseball. About 100 runs difference between the Pirates starters and the Rockies starters. Bucks pick up another run on 2 hits. It's a 4-1 lead. keep it here through the post game based on that game. Magic number is 2. And with both a Nationals loss and a Giants loss, they're playing San Francisco later. Coupled with a Pirates win, the Pirates would clinch tonight. Michael Morse with a 2-out RBI single in the 3rd inning. His 17th RBI against the Rockies. 4-1, Pirates with the lead. Nothing in 1 is the count to Brandon Barnes. Did I say that Giants are playing San Francisco or San Diego?
San Francisco. But that was okay. We knew what you meant.
Well, they're playing San Diego. Sam somebody as Barnes gets a base hit.
They're on the West Coast in a stadium next to a bay.
And what we're going to do,
all the same.
If the Nationals lose, if the Baltimore Orioles hang on and win, and the Pirates do win, we're going to stay here at the ballpark. The Pirates have plans to hang out and watch the end of that San Francisco-San Diego game.
And even if Washington pulls that out, Pirates win, still got a chance to, right?
No,
he can't.
Because Washington and the Giants are tied.
Yep.
So it'd be one or the other.
But well, for me, it doesn't really make a whole lot of difference because we're in the wild card.
Right, but the game, and that is important. The clinching part's important, but the most important we talked about earlier is Cincinnati and St. Louis.
1-1 right now.
Yeah, they're in the 5th. 1-1.
I'm watching it here on my mobile device.
Are you?
Yep.
Russin looking to bunt.
MLB.com.
Russin trying to get one down, get a runner in the scoring position. He fans on it, and that is strike 2. See if Happ can pick up another strikeout here. He has 3 in the game already. And they pitch from Happ. Throw to first instead. Rustin awaits the pitch from Happ. Letting him swing away. Show bunt, pulled the bat back. Charlie Blackmon is on deck. Rockies center fielder and leadoff man.
Well, hopefully he'll hit a ground ball somewhere if he pulls the bat back.
Well, pulls it back. They want him to swing. 2-2. Runner goes. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Throw down is not in time. A stolen base for Barnes. But another strikeout as Russin goes down swinging. Runner at second base.
Boy, look at that job. That was just nothing Cervelli could do.
One out, Blackmon at the plate and the pitch. Inside ball 1. Blackmon had a hit in the 9th inning last night. That was it. 1 for 4, was hit by a pitch. Stole 2 bases.
Especially in this ballpark. They got a lot of quality hitters up and down their lineup. It's not an easy team to beat if they get some pitching.
Ball sliced foul.
And now they're back up at the top of the lineup.
High five.
Arenado with all of his RBIs, just a couple hitters away.
Pirate fan ended up with it.
A Pirate fan down there last night got a couple of balls. He was giving them away to kids.
One ball and one strike to Charlie Blackmon. One out, one on. Pirates leading by 3 runs in the bottom of the third. .263 average with runners in scoring position for Blackmon. Barnes out there at second base. When Blackmon stole 2 bases last night, he became the 4th player in Rockies history to steal 40 or more in a season. Ball fouled off. And he is the first Rocky since 2008 to steal 40. Willie Tavares stole 68 that year and also led the league in infield hits. Haps 1-2.
He went to strikeout pitch, couldn't get a chase. It's almost exactly where you want to put that. Maybe if you can keep it from bouncing just a little bit up out of the dirt. Get that swing and miss. The hitter trying to protect with 2 strikes.
And this one is toward the left center field gap. That's going to get down. Marte may have lost that in the lights for a moment. He'll throw on to second base to hold Blackmon to a single, but that'll score Barnes. And it's now 4-2.
He hangs this slider. See, the ball's breaking. It's running away, but he had it up high instead of down. If that ball's down, he might get a ground ball short. He did not locate that pitch. Good job by Marte keeping Blackmon at first base, although you would imagine he'll try and get the second still.
Loves to run.
Yeah, he had that move read. He was going back. Going back early.
Christian Adames, shortstop, struck out swinging first time up. Well, Blackmon certainly leads all players in stolen bases with a beard of that length. Billy Hamilton, 57. He is out for the rest of the season. As we told you, D. Gordon of the Marlins can catch him now.
And neither one of those guys has a beard.
No, not like that.
At all.
In the air to right center. Drifting over is Polanco. 2 men out for the Rockies in the third.
A little bluff start.
There's Nolan Arenado. Last night suffered his first career 4 strikeout game and sitting on 39 home runs. Some feel he's pressing for his 40th. And over his last 15 plate appearances, he has struck out 8 times.
Yeah, he was doing something last night. I don't know if it was pressing or whatever, but boy, did he swing a lot of bad pitches out of the strike zone. He was chasing those breaking balls all night. Fastballs up, didn't seem to matter. He was swinging and missing.
He is a good player. There's no question.
Yeah.
114 runs batted in. That says something.
Certainly been a big-time run producer for him.
More home runs on the road than at home. And I think when you play
how rare
for,
was that for here?
Yeah, exactly. When you play for Colorado, the assumption is automatically going to be, well, you get more at home, but he has more on the road.
Yeah, that can't have happened very often, especially somebody that hits a lot of home runs.
There goes Blackmon, and no throw.
No chance. Great jump. Took off first move.
Now, something that's happened far too often lately, uncontested steals of second. Highest percentage of team RBIs, Arenado with 17.9. It's about 18% of his team's RBIs. Matt Kemp next. It's our Barrel Automotive League leader stat. Andrew McCutchen on the list, 4th. Arenado drives one into center field. That's going to get Blackmon home. It's now 1-run ball game at 4-3. Nolan Arenado with his 115th RBI. And that's what a stolen base can do. Get you an extra run.
Had to go down and get it. Didn't get that breaking ball up. The ball was down around the knees. Went down and almost golfed it.
Hap hopes that that's it as far as the runs allowed. And an ERA under 2 with the Pirates. He's given up 3 runs here tonight. Carlos Gonzalez at the plate with the tying run aboard and 2 outs. Now, tonight's one of those nights, Bob, or today I should say, everybody's talking about the possibility of clinching and things like that throughout the day, but you got to beat this team. This team can hit. The Rockies have some hitters.
Yeah, you can't get caught up in all this stuff because like I said earlier, you're going to the wild card no matter what. Your goal is to try and win the division. That's still a possibility. You're 4 games back. Still have 3 games to play against the Cardinals. I think you'd like to get that to perhaps 2 somehow before you match up head to head with them. And that's really what you want to do. And to do that, you have to win every night. You've got to really minimize all the mistakes and play perfect baseball, or at least as close to it as you can when you're in a pennant race. Like this. You got to really be focused on every inning, every play.
Two 2-0 the count to Gonzalez. Arenado off of first base. Hap's pitch right at Ramirez. Oh, what a pick by Ramos Ramirez. They get the force out at second base. 2 runs come in, and we head to the 4th. It's a 1-run game in Colorado.
University tweet that we received using the hashtag BucksBooth. Where do fans send get well cards for Jung Ho Gung? Now, we have gotten many tweets since our last announcement of Christian Hurdle sending Jung Ho his first get well card. Well, here's your chance to do it. Send your cards to care of Jung Ho Gung, 115 Federal Street, Pittsburgh, PA, 15212. The Pirates and the wonderful folks at PNC Park will be sure that your card makes its way to Jung Ho Gung's locker at the ballpark. So anyone likes to send it, here's your chance. Feel free to send away your best wishes to the Pirates shortstop and third baseman. I'm sure he will appreciate it, Tim.
Yes, he will. Yes, he will. Hope he's well. 4-3 the score, top of the fourth inning.
Yeah, time to get those runs back.
Top of the order up. Jay Hay is 2 for 2.
Perfect place to be in the order.
Nolan Arenado with RBI number 115.
Yeah, get a couple of guys on. Somebody find a gap.
Hitting .282. Solid average for Harrison, and the pitch. Harrison gets a strike in on him. Harrison deals low this time. 2 balls and a strike. Harrison originally drafted by the Oakland A's in 08. Jay Hay lifts this one high to left field. Going back is Barnes. And that's out of most parks except this one. Caught it right in front of the warning track, in front of the 390 sign. Long out. The division is on the line when the Cardinals come to town next Monday through Wednesday. Be there to cheer on your Bucks as they battle the Cards in the quest for the division championship. For tickets to any game in the series, go to pirates.com/tickets. There are some tickets available, so scoop them up. Cardinals and Reds are tied at 1 in the 6th inning. Pirates need some help from Cincinnati. Cubs are winning 3-0 over Milwaukee. They're in the 7th. Cubs 2 games in back of the Pirates, so most important game is that Cardinal-Red game. If the Reds can win and the Pirates win here, the lead in the division would be cut to 3. And in that Cub game, Chris Bryant hit his 26th home run, setting a new Cubs rookie home run record that originally was held by Billy Williams, who hit 25 in 1961.
Steve Blass's buddy, Billy Williams.
I don't know about a buddy.
He sent a limo for him to get to the ballpark every day when they were playing there.
That's true. He wanted to make sure Steve was pitching when he was hitting.
That's a true friend.
Yeah, I guess. Polanco aboard. And McCutcheon up. McCutcheon 0 for 1. I wonder if Steve still wakes up in the cold sweats dreaming about Billy Williams. Nightmares.
I think he threw a 2-hitter one time. Both hits were Billy Williams home runs there.
I think it was a 4-hitter. Billy had all 4.
Yeah, well,
not home runs, but
maybe 4 and 2 of them were home runs or something like that.
2 home runs in that game. I don't know. The legend grows as
Who
years
knows
go on.
the truth, but we've heard the story a couple times.
Chicago on the weekend. It's going to be an amazing atmosphere, maybe the best atmosphere we've seen at Wrigley in quite some time. 23 pitches in the first, 25 in the third for Russell. 1 out, 1 on the pitch. Way up. Ball and a strike.
Hey, you think the streets out there have any people on? Before and after the games? Or during, for that matter?
Yeah, there'll be a sea of people. Friday afternoon, Saturday afternoon, Sunday night in Chicago. 2 more games here in Colorado after this one tonight. And Kutch pops it up. Gonzalez under it. And he will make the catch. 2 down for the Pirates in the 4th. Russia now will face Aramis Ramirez.
He's taken a couple of shots out toward that Rocky bullpen. Can't really get a hold of one yet. But he's not going to give up. He's going to try it again. Playing him over that direction now. Blackman out center. He's shaded over that way. Russin knows it. He's going to try to jam him. Trying to prevent him from hitting the ball that direction. Oh, that first cutter up and in at him.
We were talking about Steve Blass and Billy Williams. You know, the good news is that Steve struck Billy Williams out 4 times in his career.
All 4 times.
4 times. Ramirez pulls this one foul.
How many at bats?
87.
Oh. No, they faced each other a ton. 4 out of 87, that's not bad.
He was 25 out of 87. He hit .313, 6 doubles, 7 homers. One of the few guys that really did hit Steve well. Not too many others did.
No.
Ron Santo
not very many at all.
Told me that he loved Steve Blass. Thought he was greatest, and he said he hit him a little bit. And, those are 2 of the Cubs that got to Steve, but not many other guys did. Ramirez to center field. Blackman going back. Still going back. He leaps it. It is over his head. Polanco will rumble around third. He's going to score, and Ramirez is trying for 3. And Aramis Ramirez has a triple. His first of the year. Wow. A 3-base hit for Ramirez.
Gave it a ride, dead center. Blackman, you know, I don't think Blackman really thought that ball was going to be over his head. He didn't break back hard on it right away, kind of drifted, and they ended up not getting there.
24th career triple for Ramirez. And his first since last August against St. Louis while with Milwaukee. That's the reaction.
Russell was walking to the dugout. He thought that was just going to be a flyout.
Pitch to Marte's outside. So the Bucks with another run on the board. It's now a 2-run game at 5-3. Ramirez driving in another run. Blackman just couldn't get to it.
And then he couldn't find it. And the great speed of Aramis Ramirez got him to third. Let's take a look at that speed.
See, you can't even see him.
You know he's got a chance. He knows he's thinking 3 right there. Now he's thinking, well, yeah, maybe.
Now he's thinking 3.
Now he wants. You know what he's thinking about now? Oxygen.
All 5 Pirate runs tonight have come on 2-out hits, including that tremendous 3-base hit by Aramis Ramirez. He's feeling it in his lungs. Marte is 1 for 2. 2-ball, 2-strike pitch from Russell. Still 2-2. Jeff Branson can say, yeah, I taught him how to do that.
Aramis was doing that since he's 19.
75th run batted in on the year for Aramis Ramirez. That is a fair ball. Hits the base. Ramirez scores, and it's 6-3. Definition of a base hit. Marte is 2 for 3.
Nothing more that Arenado can do. He made the right decision. That absolutely, no chance to throw Marte out. See, he's deep. Marte, one of the fastest guys in the league from that right side, or from any side for that matter. Made the right choice, but it just hugged the chalk all the way to the bag. Hit it. See how high it bounced off the base? It doesn't bounce that high at lower elevation.
Yeah, something to do with the thin air.
A gravitational effect.
I got another mathematical
equation there?
Formula sent to me, and I can't make heads or tails of it.
Let me put my glasses on.
You look at it.
See what it says.
Pitch to Cervelli. Time to take a break for Aramis Ramirez. One-0 pitch. There goes the runner. Throw down by Garland out in time on a stolen base by Starling Marte. That is his 28th theft of the year.
It says here that gravity decreases with the square of separation.
Is that so?
Yes, it's only a little weaker here in Colorado.
He can still steal bases no matter what altitude.
Yep. He's not having to run through so much air. Less drag.
Cervelli is swinging a miss. One of the great stories about altitude. 1990, UNLV is playing Duke at McNichols Arena for the NCAA championship here in Denver. They walk into the arena and there's a sign like that says 5,280 feet, check your oxygen. And one of the UNLV players says to the coach, Jerry Tarkanian, what about this high altitude? He says, don't worry, we're playing indoors.
Oh, yeah.
They went on to win by 30 points.
Absolutely. That's what made him a great coach. Is he knew the tricks of the trade. I heard he knew a lot of tricks.
Marte at second, still 2 out. 2-ball, 2-strike count to Cervelli. Marte breaks for third, and this one is ripped foul. With Arenado playing really deep, Marte had a free lane to the bag.
More stealing of third with 2 outs in this series than you normally see. We're only halfway through game 2.
Not sure why that is. Again, the 2-2 pitch to Cervelli. It's up. Count full, 3-2.
Well, for one thing, it's the easiest base to steal because nobody holds you on.
But why we've seen so many consecutively here.
I have a theory, but I have to work on it a little longer.
3-2 pitch now to Cervelli from Russin. And he gets down to third base. It is taken by Arenado. Goes on to first to get him. Pirates add 2 more runs on 2 hits. They leave him at 6-3. 6-3. Pirates with the lead. So half the equation, or a portion of the equation, I guess, is complete with Baltimore winning. Now if San Diego beats San Francisco and the Pirates hang on here, the Bucks will clinch a postseason berth for the 3rd straight year. Starling Marte with a base hit that hit off the third base bag. And a triple. Ramos Ramirez driving in another run after Polanco had walked.
Yeah, we did get those 2 runs back. Mission accomplished.
So here is Willeen Rosario, who got the Rockies on the board in the 2nd inning with a home run. He goes to right field for a base hit. Looked like he almost hit that out of Cervelli's glove.
He was trying to hit one right through that empty right side is what he was trying to do.
Our day automotive this day in Pirates history. 1991, the Pirates beat the Phillies 2-1 to clinch their 2nd straight NL East title. Doug Drabek won his 15th game, throwing a complete game, allowing just the 1 run on 7 hits. Struck out 8. Orlando Merced walked 3 times, scored both Pirate runs. One on a Barry Bonds sac fly, the other on a Bobby Bonilla RBI ground out. And on this date in Pirate history, 3 different postseason clinches. 1971, of course, they go on to win the World Series that year. So it could happen tonight. And in 1991, Bob Walk was present and in uniform.
Yes, it was.
Remember that night well?
Absolutely.
Drabek was pretty good.
He was very good.
Understatement.
Winner. It was a very good team. We had future home run king on it. There was a lot of good players on that team.
0-1 to DJ LeMahieu. LeMahieu struck out looking in the 2nd inning.
3 years in a row coming within 2 wins in the World Series and 1 win, and last year within 1 out. Just couldn't get over the hump.
And LeMahieu goes to right field. Polanco picks it up on 2 hops, and the Rockies have set up shop. 1st and 2nd, nobody out. Sixth hit off of Jay Happ for the Rockies. He will now face the catcher, Dustin Garneau, who struck out swinging in the 2nd inning. Find black and gold in all corners of this ballpark.
A lot of it here in Colorado. It's everywhere we go, but there's certain stadiums where you see a lot more of it, and this is one of them.
And the proper headgear as well. That's necessary.
Yeah, that kind of started about 3 years ago, where fans started actually dressing like pirates, coming in costume.
Garneau fouls that one out of play. From the We Are Family era uniforms. Pirates 5 for 9 with runners in scoring position. The Rockies 2 for 2. Their percentage is high, but just 2 tries. A good time for double play ball here for Garneau. How'd that Kansas City guy get in here?
I-70.
Go straight here. I mean, literally, you get on at Kauffman Stadium, and it takes you right here, right to this ballpark. And you go the other way, it'll take you straight to Washington, Pennsylvania. Two ball, 2 strike count to the Rockies catcher. Rosario at second base, LeMahieu at first. 2-2 pitch. In the air to right field. And Polanco drifting back with it. Rosario will tag and head for third base. Throw comes into second. Runners at the corners. So Garner moves a man from second to third, but the double play is still in order with LeMahieu at first.
And that was when you really wanted badly to save that run. That's what Hap's thinking about right now. What do I need to do to get this ball on the ground?
Jay had a quick inning in the first, 9 pitches, 14 in the second, gradually going up, 20 in the third. A double play ball would help his pitch count right here if Barnes would hit into one. Had a base hit and a stolen base, also scored a run in the third. Hap tries to keep it down low, but too low. Ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. Action in the bullpen. Gonzalez German is warming up for Walt Weiss. The starter, Chris Russin, through 4 innings, 92 pitches. So we would perhaps expect to see a parade out of the Rocky pen again tonight.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. There'll be a bunch of them.
1-1 pitch. Right by him. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Not what he wanted to do, but it turned out okay. He wants to put this ball inside, and he misses his spot, and it goes right down the middle. But 95 miles an hour with this low drag configuration here. Went right by him.
The low drag configuration.
Yeah. That's what your fastballs are here.
Where's their high drag configuration?
Dodger Stadium at night.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that. It's the opposite of here.
It's thick.
It doesn't go anywhere. Ready for the 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out.
94 upstairs.
5 strikeouts for Hap.
Can't get the ground ball. The thing is, when you go low drag, you don't have much downforce, so it's hard to get the ground ball.
You've been watching racing again? Talked about the Rockies being 2 for 2 with runners in scoring position. Hap has changed that number, now 2 for 4. Ray Searage comes out, pays him a visit as a pinch hitter comes up, Kyle Parker. So Ray with a scouting report on Parker. 2 men out, 2 on. And Hap a chance to get out of this inning. Parker in 18 games since the 23rd of August is 3 for 44. He's hitting .068. Russin out of the ball game. He's had 0 for streaks of 0 for 17 and 0 for 18 this year. One and 0. Parker called up June 9th, sent back the next day, was called back on August 1st. So he's been up twice this year. And he fouls this one down the right side for strike 1. 1 ball and 1 strike to Parker. Over in Chicago, the Cubs have added another run against Milwaukee. They're in the 8th inning. And the Cubs with a 4-0 lead. Still 1-1 in the 7th, Cincinnati and St. Louis. Jay Bruce, a home run for the Reds tonight, counting for their only run. It's 2-ball count now with 1 strike to Kyle Parker.
I think Cincinnati's going to have a breakthrough this inning.
I hope you're right. Looks like Jay does the double knot.
You have to at this altitude. See, everything you say, it does affect announcers because everything you say has to be finished off with at this altitude.
That could be a game to play.
Hydration
as you're hydrating. Three and one to Kyle Parker. Runners at first and third. 2 men out. And the pitch coming from Jay Happ. Right by him for a strike and the count full. Well, we'll see what Happ comes back with here. 3-2. See if he can get Parker. After Rosario had a base hit to lead off the inning, he's at third base. LeMahieu followed that up with a single. He is at first. Darnold the fly out to right. Barnes the strikeout. Looks like the fastball's on the way. Struck him out.
Another low drag. Right by him.
Parker out on strikes, and the Rockies strand 2. 6-3 after 4.
The Chevy Cruze and your Western PA Chevy dealers. And by Day Automotive. We're going to make your day. Let's go Bucks.
Sign store here in Denver had a sale today. 6-3. Pirates leading the Rockies as we go to the top of the 5th inning. Jay Happ, 6 strikeouts after giving up 2 hits to start the bottom of the 4th. Got 3 in a row, including 2 punch-outs. Gonzalez German is on to pitch.
Decent numbers. I mean, it's a 5 ERA, but it's Coors.
Facing Michael Morse to start things off. And there's a foul back for a strike. Morse is 1 for 1 with a walk. He walked in the second and then came up with an RBI base hit with a shattered bat in the 3rd inning. Pirates have scored at least 1 run in each inning so far. Remember, could have had 2 in the first. McCutchen stalled out at 3rd base when ball was going away from Gonzalez.
Doesn't end up being a 1-run ball game.
Ball and 2 strikes to Morse.
So far, it's looking good. We talked earlier about the game plan, trying to do what they did last night. They're well on their way to 9 runs. 3 more to get there. The way it's looking now, they'll be in double figures tonight.
Jordy Mercer helped a lot last night.
The year of the flat black hats.
Yeah, they changed the actual color of the batting helmets this year.
Satin look.
Looks good.
Only the Pirates and the Diamondbacks, the only one that went that way. Look out.
2-2 the count. Full count, 3-2. Three balls and 2 strikes to Michael Morse. Gonzalez German ready to throw. And he strikes him out looking. Morse down on strikes to start the 5th.
Well, that was a little inside.
Brian Knight ringing up Michael Morse. Jordy Mercer will take a strike.
Not your fault, Michael. That one's good 3 or 4 inches too far in.
Get him next time. 0-1 pitch inside to Jordy. 1 ball and 1 strike. Pirates a 6-3 lead, top of the 5th inning.
German's got a lot of run on his fastball. The way it goes in, it's like he's throwing through different air than the other guys are.
A different drag.
He's got a way to put movement on the ball.
Mercer's out, 2 gone. Christian Adames throws him out. Keep up with the pennant races and true HD quality on MLB.TV Premium. Watch every out-of-market game live on more than 400 supported devices. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking widget, and more. Visit MLB.TV today. Now Bob was checking the pitch tracking widget.
Got a live look-in going right now. See?
I know, I can hear it.
Oh, I guess I need to figure out how to turn it off. Okay, wait a minute. There, it's gone now. I can't hear anything, right?
Yeah, you use a little downward drag to turn the volume down. Jay Happ up there again. Happ had a successful sacrifice bunt in the 2nd inning, struck out looking to win the 3rd.
Cincinnati didn't have that breakthrough, by the way, I was looking for. Got somebody on, but didn't do anything with him.
Keep the folks updated throughout as we scoreboard watch with you. Very exciting time of the year, really is. Giants and Padres are underway at Petco Park. We'll keep you updated throughout. No reason to check anywhere else. Just when you're ready to say, boy, I wonder what that score is, I'm sure we'll tell you. Half a ground ball to the right side. Rosario throws on to first base. German makes the catch and steps on the bag. Pirates for the first time tonight gone in order. We'll head to the bottom of the 5th. 6-3 Bucks. For the Penguins' new season with some preseason action this Thursday. Join us as the Pens take on the Detroit Red Wings at Joe Louis Arena starting at 7 with Penguins pregame presented by Heritage Valley Health Network. UPMC scoreboard 6-3. He's ready for the Pens. There's
be some hockey games right here at Coors Field this winter.
Yeah, the Red Wings are going to play the Avalanche here, and then they're going to have a big college hockey game here in February between the University of Denver and Colorado College, which is a huge rivalry around these parts.
Is it cold to have ice here in the winter?
Sure. What do you think? You're in the Rocky Mountains.
Rhetorical question, man.
You know, as they said in Dumb and Dumber, Bob, we're in the Rockies.
The edge of the Rockies.
It's still cold enough here in the winter. Although when it snows, it goes away in 2 days. Jay Happ getting ready to pitch the home half of the fifth to the leadoff man, Charlie Blackmon. Pirates a 3-run lead. 8 hits for the Bucks, 6 hits for Colorado. And Blackmon has one of them. Singled in a run and scored a run himself in the third inning. Stole a base, his 41st of the year. One ball and no strikes to Blackmon. And that's in for a strike. In fact, I had somebody tell me yesterday who lives in these parts. They said they were surprised they haven't had snow yet, even though yesterday there was a record high 88 degrees for September 21st yesterday.
They usually get some snow in September here.
It's happened before, but you'll get it in May more than anything else. Late May. Here comes the 2-1 pitch. It's 2-2 to Blackmon.
You know what we usually see when we have a trip here is a little afternoon thunder shower.
Yeah, if we're here during the summer.
Any of those.
Summer, like the midsummer, get one of those.
But they seem to just come out of nowhere also.
As you get later in the summer, those go away. Two and 2 to Blackmon.
Any fishing this trip?
No fishing in this trip. Wasn't able to go. I've been the first time we've come out here. I haven't been able to go. Strike 3. Got him at the knees. Strikeout number 7 for Jay Happ. As he gets Blackmon looking. Blackmon now 1 for 3.
A little bit of a rough spot there in that third inning. Making his pitches. Like we talked about right in the very beginning, it's more about the fastball than anything else. Moving that baby around, throwing it up and down and in and out. That's made the big difference. I think you look at his stats. The fastball just has not been hit anything close to what it was first part of the season when he was in Seattle. And that one gets hit decent.
So shortstop Christian Adames. A base hit to right.
This is a good job of hitting there too. This ball pretty much where he wanted it, inside corner. You could see that Cervelli's mitt wasn't going to have to move much. Happ was trying to make that ball carry all the way out there to Polanco to be caught, didn't make it.
10 of 20 first pitch strikes tonight for Jay Happ. Nolan Arenado picked up his league-leading 115th RBI in the third. And hits one down to third base, backhanded by Ramirez to second for one, back to first, around the horn, a beauty. An inning-ending double play.
Well, Ramirez guy can play some third, can he?
Boy, he can pick it. Gonzalez in the third, but this one here in the fifth starts a very impressive looking double play, our Chick-fil-A double play tonight.
Really a great pick. The important part of that was how quickly and how accurately he gets this ball to second base so they can complete the double play. That was just an awesome job. Pretty good turn there by J.A. also.
And Harrison to lead off, top of the order to start the sixth inning. Pitch into the hands for a ball. One and 0 to J.A. Josh with a pair of hits tonight and a deep fly out to left field. Sherman's pitch swung on and missed. 1 ball and 1 strike. And the 1-1. That's inside and low. 2 balls and a strike. J.A. awaits the pitch from Gonzalez German. 3-1.
That little finish of the fastball keeps jumping it off the plate inside. And that's why he's not throwing strikes.
3-2. Took a little off.
That pitch also is off the plate inside just a little bit. A little cluster in there.
3-2's down low and the leadoff man aboard. Let's take you back to Pittsburgh and Rob King with this State Farm game break. Tommy Pham again. He did it last night late in the ball game in the 8th. Got a triple off of J.J. Hoover, a guy who the rest of the league hits 155 against. And Tommy Pham gets the go-ahead run in the 7th inning late. And it's another 2-1 game in St. Louis. Way inside to Gregory Polanco. Game has gone final now in Chicago. The Cubs have beaten Milwaukee 4-0. Taking the first 2 games of that series.
I had a feeling that the Brewers wouldn't score many tonight.
Against Jake Arrieta. No Ryan Braun in the lineup. German's pitch, long hold. Well, he won't throw it. Time is called. Throw to first and getting back is J-Hit. Yankees and Toronto in the American League East. They've gone to extra innings. The Yankees now have taken a lead. They lost to Toronto last night. And the Blue Jays with a 3.5 game lead. This ball well struck. Deep to left field. Going back Barnes. And he makes the catch. J.A.'s got to come around second and back to first. Deepest corner of the ballpark.
That held that one.
Again, that ball gone just about every other ballpark there is, except here. But you're not playing in any other ballpark.
No, and it wouldn't have gone that far in any other ballpark.
Maybe. That's right. Well, McCutchen looking for his first hit of the series. 1 on, 1 out. Takes inside. Ready for the 1-0 is McCutchen. Ball and 1 strike. They're still scoreless in San Diego, by the way.
You know, Jerry Tarkanian gave me an idea. What if they put a dome here to play baseball in, and then over pressurize it so that it's got an atmosphere like you have it, like say 1,000 feet. Ball doesn't carry. Might be the answer to the whole problem.
You should look into that.
A glass dome so you can still see the Rocky Mountains. Look like a habitat on Mars or something.
It would, yeah, it would look like what were the hamsters in? The Habit Trail? He'd be playing baseball in a Habit Trail.
Yeah, but the ball wouldn't carry.
Have to put a wheel over there somewhere, right?
It could be like a Ferris wheel.
It's fouled back. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Andrew. McCutchen just looking for a pitch he can drive somewhere. A lot of room on the right side with Rosario holding on the runner Harrison and LeMahieu playing toward the bag. And 3-2. This 3-2 pitch, and the fact that McCutchen hasn't seen many good pitches to hit, probably going to see J-Hay right here. He took a wrong turn, didn't he? There's ball 4. Kutch has walked for the 2nd time tonight. 2 walks in the inning and 2 men on with 1 out for Ramirez.
No, it's going to be Neil Walker.
Oh, Walker's going to come up. And now the customary visit from the pitching coach, Steve Foster. New batter comes up. I'll give the scouting report on Walker. So Walker will end up staying in the game, going to second base. J-Hay will end up moving to third. A 1 out and 2 on. Chance to add on in the 6th inning of a 6-3 ball game. Game 2 of a 4-game set tomorrow. It'll be Christian Bergman pitching. Scott Oberg warms up now for the Rockies, but Christian Bergman will pitch for the Rockies against Charlie Morton tomorrow night. Game 3. Walker 4 for 11 as a pinch hitter. Gonzalez German throws. And Walker to left field, right at Barnes. 2 out. One pitch at bat for Walker. Starling Marte has had a good night already. 2 RBIs. Single double for him. Average up to 286. Career high 18 homers.
Just triple or home run here to make that last at bat very interesting.
He was a triple away from the cycle last night.
It's in that left center field corner. That'll be 3 bases for sure.
A word from the Pirate clubhouse about Aramis Ramirez. Tightness in his left groin. So he's being treated and evaluated. And that's why Walker came up to pinch hit in his spot. So taken out with tightness in the left groin. So his night is done. 325.
Anything to do with that last defensive play where he backhanded that ball, get it quickly spun, threw that ball to second. might have felt a little bit on that. And they understandably would say, well, then that's enough. We'll get some ice on it. Got plenty of players down there in that dugout. Got a full crew.
3-1 to Marte. Let's take a look at that last play, Bob.
Would this bother your groin? That little twisting throwing motion. Possibly.
Or do you think maybe it was when he was running on the triple?
Well, from personal experience, it's always the throwing motion, and I've done that several times.
Well, German has walked the bases full this inning.
I didn't have much of that personal experience stuff running the bases, so I could.
How many triples did you get?
Oh, I don't know. A couple, I think.
You had a couple, didn't you?
Yeah.
Walt Weiss coming out to get him. So after the bases are walked full, that'll be it. And Scott Oberg will come on to pitch. 6-3 Pirates. Two men out. And Ramos Ramirez left the game. And right there, he reaches for that left groin. That's what he said. That's what we were told he had an issue with.
Oh, that would have been running the bases. But then he stayed in the ball game, made that great play.
Makes a little grimace there. Might be a little uncomfortable. And then there's
this was later on. Yeah. Now that's the throw that I would think would hurt if you had a problem with that groin, that twisting motion.
Two outs, Francisco Cervelli, the batter. The bases are full of Bucks. And Scott Oberg pitching. And a bouncer toward the middle in the first pitch, and that takes care of that. Bucks leave him full in the 6th. We're back to Denver in a moment.
as a pinch runner. He very quickly stole third base and then scored on a throw-in error, his first big league run. And what did he get for his efforts? He got third base. As we look at this tweet from Scott Bonnet, the Pirates equipment manager, Keon Broxton, first stolen base in MLB, hashtag Let's Go Bucks. Now, Brad Fisher helped make that happen. The head groundskeeper here at Coors Field is a friend of Brad Fisher's from way back in the day when Brad worked for the Oakland A's and their organization. And he walked up to him after the ballgame and said, hey, you think instead of getting a baseball for a first in Major League Baseball, how about we get that base? He offered to pay for the base, and he said, nope, don't worry about it, no problem at all. By the way, with Broxton, 39 steals this season in the minor leagues in both Double and Triple A, almost became the first Pirates minor leaguer in 48 years with double digits in doubles, triples, homers, and steal 40 bases. Johnny Jeter, the last guy to do it back in 1967. So some great stuff from Keon Broxton as we just get a look at the defensive changes for the Bucks.
It'll be a night he'll never forget. That's for sure.
You know, if they'd have made him pay for it, then it wouldn't have been a stolen base. So that makes sense, right? Take it home like you stole it.
Carlos Gonzalez.
You know, he did take it home, too.
He
It was
did.
a wild throw, went down the corner, he took it home.
Literally a stolen base. This one popped up out of play.
But boy, is he fast, huh?
Yeah, he can run.
Yeah, we saw. He's one of those guys that he didn't have that deceptive speed. When he runs, it looks fast. He was moving.
And he's taking it all in now. It's his first taste of major league action in a pennant race. 2-1 to Cargo. Carlos Gonzalez. Brad Fisher began with the A's, so did Gonzalez. He arrived here when the Rockies traded Matt Holliday to the A's before Holliday went to the Cardinals and stayed there. And the return was Gonzalez. Young prospect at the time.
Turned out to be a pretty good trade.
Not so good for Oakland.
No.
Good trade for Colorado.
They had Holliday for a very short time. Turned out good for St. Louis also.
Ultimately.
Yep, they're the ones that end up getting got him.
Two and two to Gonzalez. Speaking of the American League, Bob, the Yankees have won in extra innings over Toronto tonight. This ball ripped foul down the first baseline. That cuts the Blue Jays lead back to 2.5 games in the division. Really good race in the East between Toronto and the Yankees. Yankees holding the top wild card spot in the American League. There you go. 2-2 fouled back. So Happ trying to get Gonzalez now.
I'm pulling for Toronto. Figure you must be doing Toronto also. You can't ever be rooting for the Yankees.
No,
can
I'm
you?
just
Being a
not,
Boston guy?
not pulling for anybody in the American League. I don't know.
I'm pulling for Toronto. Russell Martin.
I'd be happy for Russell. It'd be good. Strike three call. Strikeout number 8 for Happ. And now trouble at the plate. Walt Weiss coming to get his outfielder.
Like we were going to have a Joey Votto moment there.
Brian Knight left a long leash here for Gonzalez. As soon as you do that.
Well, there was 3 hand motions there. I've seen guys thrown out for just the first one.
Right.
And they let him go 3 times.
It was a long leash.
Surprise.
Marlene Rosario is 2 for 2. Jay Happ with 8 strikeouts tonight. His first 25 starts of the year. He had 2 games with 8 strikeouts or more. In his last 4 starts with the Pirates, he's had 8 or more strikeouts in each game. It seems like Happ is just getting
his
stronger and stronger.
His September strikeout numbers versus his walks, just looked at that before the game, and it just jumps off the page. It's just incredible what he's been able to do. He is pitching like an ace. That's the one way to describe it.
He walks Rosario.
Walk. The old jinx.
That was going to happen whether
That
you
was
said
on,
it or
no,
not.
that was on me.
It was going to happen whether you said it or not.
If there was some way you could still put stuff on my stat sheet, though, that I'll take that walk. I jinxed him.
And that's going to chase Happ out of the ballgame. So Happ finishes with 8 strikeouts. He leaves in line for the win. Another good outing for Jay Happ. In spite of the fact he gave up 7 hits. But again, a decent start. And here comes Jared Hughes to take over for him.
And may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Jay Happ done after 5 1/3 tonight. 8 strikeouts for him. It leaves with a 6-3 lead, and Jared Hughes called upon now to face the second baseman, right-handed hitting DJ LeMahieu.
Hey, Jared's been very busy this year, 72 games. I was wondering about the Jared run in. If that he should back off a little bit on that here at this altitude.
Let's see how his lungs are feeling after the game. And the pitcher's in there. It is true. I remember the first time I ran up the stands at a football game at the Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs. My lungs burned for 3/4 of the football game. It was tough. LeMahieu ground ball to second. Walker flips to Mercer, and a twin kill.
The run in didn't bother him at all, did it?
Nope.
That was ground ball, got the double play.
Jared did what Jared does. 6-3 after 6. Health Network. Supermo giving us some great video tonight. See either October 11th at Stage AE. Top of the 7th. Pirates leading 6-3. Michael Morse. A foul ball and a 1-strike count on him. You know, the Pirates haven't scored in the last 2 innings. They've scored every other inning, the first 4 innings. You look at the way the Pirates offense has been over the last couple of series, Bob. It's been pretty good. And Morse is hit by a pitch by Oberg. You look at the 4 games of the series with the Cubs, they scored 14 runs, but not as many as they wanted to get in that series, losing 3 or 4 games. But 9 runs in the 3 games in LA as Morse will come out and Keon Broxton will come in. But in the first 15 innings of this series, they've scored 15 runs.
Yeah, the LA series, I mean, you'd like to score more than just 3 a game. But here, this is what you need to win in this ballpark. You got to come out with the offense. I guess the number everybody shoots for is 4. You know, if you look at most teams, if their record when they score 4 or more, probably pretty darn good.
Well, does Keon Broxton take off? He did last night, his major league debut. Let's see what he does. He's got a pretty good lead at first.
Really good lead. He's not shy about the lead.
Throw to first, he dives back. He knows just how far he can get off.
He's got some height on him too, so he can reach a long way when he dives back, like Polanco.
Well, looked like he might have thought about going, was leaning the other way, but got back.
A little flinch. What do you think his nerves are like right now?
Big time butterflies. I mean, this is what he's been dreaming about, playing in the major leagues. Got a taste of it last night. Here he is again, and Mercer fouls it off. It's a real good option though for the Pirates because without Jung Ho Kang having being an infielder down, now you have 2 pinch running options, but an extra infield option defensively with Pedro Flormo. So you could use Broxton earlier in the game and Flormo late to pinch run. You have 2 really good pinch running options. There he goes. Pitches up for a ball, throw down, and he is out.
Whoa.
And Broxton says no. And Clint Hurdle up on the top step of the dugout.
He already knows that these could be replayed here. He's not leaving the base. Apparently he's saying that he didn't get tagged.
Well, Clint's going to challenge it. Let's see. This should be a good angle.
No, I couldn't tell there.
Hard to tell right there. And
he's saying he missed me. He missed me.
Oh, wow. That's a better angle. It didn't look like he got him there.
Either of those don't show daylight, though. You know what I mean?
Let's get another angle here. Does the tip of the glove get him or not? Right by the number 6.
It looked like you could see the tip of the glove kind of move a little bit. But it doesn't matter unless there's an angle that shows daylight. You can't overturn it, right?
It's got to be clear and convincing.
Yeah, you got to show daylight, and there's not going to be an angle that shows that. At least, I mean, looking up at the board here, nothing anybody is putting up shows any daylight. And now there's lots of daylight there, but he's already gone by.
They're going to say he's out. My guess is this call is going to stand and not be confirmed. Well, Broxton is out, caught stealing. 2-4.
Right there. I guess. But the key thing is he was called out. Now, if he was called safe, they'd probably leave it at that. But for them to overturn the call, you'd have had to have something where you actually saw plenty of daylight in between the glove and his uniform, and there was never a view like that.
Foul ball. Well, the nice thing to see is he can run.
He's aggressive too. I like that. Get out there. I mean, everybody in the ballpark knew he went into the game to try and steal second. Obviously, the Rockies know he's going to try and steal second. They're doing everything they can to prevent it, and he still just about had it. I mean, that's really the sign of a great base stealer. Is what happens when everyone knows you're running, and you still got to go. And can you pull it off? You know.
This one fouled down the right side into the camera well on the Rockies side of things. He's hit one down toward Dan on the third base side now. Over the other cameraman on the right. He's an equal opportunity camera well hitter. Jordy Mercer out of Oklahoma State. 2-2 pitch. Struck him out. Jordy out on strikes. Take a look at the Nissan road ahead. A couple of more games left in this series. Charlie Morton goes tomorrow night. We're on the air at 8 p.m. Christian Bergman will oppose him. And then Thursday afternoon, Jeff Locke against Chad Bettis. That'll wrap up this 4-game set. Charlie hoping his Uncle Charlie works tomorrow. Pedro Alvarez hitting in the 9 spot for Hughes. By the way, Bob, just got a note from the Replay Operations Center. The call did not stand. It was confirmed by them. So
you can see that little deflection
at
the tip of the glove.
That confirmed the call. 1 ball and 1 strike. Cardinals have added an insurance run in the 8th inning. It's 3-1 over Cincinnati. Two down, bases empty. And the 2-ball, 1-strike pitch to Pedro. Up high. 3 balls, 1 strike. More activity in the bullpen for the Rockies. It is an active bullpen, extremely active. They have made more pitching changes than anybody else in baseball. To this point, 528 of them this year.
Amazing. The grass looks so good out there. It could be like a little trail or something.
Pedro hits one to right field.
Would you? Like a path?
You
that's a lot. That's a lot of guys jogging into the bullpen.
Really good location for that pitch.
Nope, not very good location
for Pedro.
Yeah, not for the Rockies though.
You know how in Detroit and in Arizona they have a pathway between the mound and the plate?
Right.
Why don't they have one from the bullpen out to the mound here?
Well, that's a good question.
Josh Harrison's been on base 3 times. He scored once. He has a single and a double, and he's driven in a run. Pretty good night for Josh. Started at second, now playing third. All 6 Pirates runs scored with 2 outs. Oberg ready to deliver for the Rockies. And Jay hits a comebacker. It is stretch time in Colorado, middle of the 7th. Antonio Bastardo heading to the mound. The Pirates with a 6-3 lead.
It's Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Allegheny Health Network. Health for all. By Kenny Ross. Just ask a neighbor. And by Levin's, the official furniture and mattress supplier of the Pittsburgh Pirates. For the best quality, service, and value, shop Levin's. Let's go Bucks!
Bottom of the 7th inning, 6-3. Pirates with a lead, out hitting the Rockies 9-6. Rick Sofield, who talks base running and handles the base runners, having Keon Broxton stay close by after he was called out barely. Sean Rodriguez goes to first base, and Antonio Bastardo is on the hill now.
Antonio's numbers on the season pretty darn good. Just occasionally a little bit of problems with the throwing enough strikes, but other than that, he gets a lot of strikeouts and nobody gets many hits off of him. 194 opponent average.
He will face the catcher Dustin Garneau. 0 for 2 tonight. Strikeout victim in the 2nd inning, and then he flied to right. Swings the first pitch, pops it up foul. Into the seats for strike 1. 180 average for him. Look at that. Hit it right into a group of Pirate fans. She had a Root Sports t-shirt on, huh? Saw a few of those out in L.A. too.
It's easy to hit into a group of Pirate fans here tonight.
It is. It really is. One ball, one strike pitch from Bastardo. And fouled off. Just missed another group of Pirate fans in the front row of the upper deck. So we know the Washington Nationals have lost tonight, 4-1 to Baltimore. They're in the 4th inning in San Diego. The Padres and Giants scoreless.
And more importantly, not really good news from Busch Stadium. St. Louis has scored a 3rd run now.
Yeah, top of the 9th inning.
Not good.
It's 3-1. Cubs have won 4-0.
Well, It's right out there on the wall. That'll win the night. That'll win every night. Doesn't matter.
Ball and 2 strikes to Garno. Antonio getting ready to throw the pitch. Two balls, 2 strikes. Bastardo taking over for Jared Hughes. Hughes had a very quick outing. Pirates needed a double play ball and got it. And now the 2-2. Fouled off again. Bastardo faced the man last night with the bases loaded and ended up getting him out. And over his last 11 appearances, he has 18 strikeouts. Again, the 2-2. Bouncing ball to Mercer. Good throw to first, got him. And there is one out for Colorado in the bottom of the 7th inning. Time now for our Data Strong fan photo of the game. It's brought to you by T-Mobile. And Mike Herman, 33, the Herman family. A shot taken at PNC Park. That is our Data Strong fan of the game. That's a strong lid right there. That's a good hat.
It'll look good on the flight the other night.
Is that a Penguin logo on the top? With the feather. There's the parrot. Strike 2. Brandon Barnes tonight 1 for 2. He struck out swinging in the 4th. Had a base hit, stole a base, and scored a run back in the 3rd. One out, base is empty, and Bastardo dealing 0-2 to Barnes. One and 2. Got him swinging. He's now struck out 19 over his last 12 appearances.
Hitting for the Rockies in place of the pitcher over number 43.
Two men out, and Bastardo will now face Rafael Noah coming off the bench to pinch hit in the 9 spot. Was in that same role in last night's game. Ended up walking in the 6th inning while a pinch hitter. He takes low and in for ball 1. There's an outfit. He's just missing the eye patch. That was Jolly Roger right there.
Yes, he's very jolly.
See, Rockies fans don't really have anything to dress as because their team's named after mountains. So you're gonna get a
can't dress as a mountain.
Contest. Rex
You
Brothers
dress as a mountain man. Jeremiah Johnson.
You could.
Yeah, that's an idea.
2 balls and a strike now to Enoa. Well,
Dress is a
Triceratops.
dinosaur, yeah.
Or you could be Colorado Rockies toothpaste. One or the other. You know what that mascot's name is, right?
Let me think.
The
for a
Triceratops dinosaur.
Yeah, it's. Is it? Yeah, we said it last night. Dinger.
Dinger, right?
Yeah, we talked about that
Yeah.
last night. I had to think for a second. Couldn't get Dino out of my mind. It's Dinger.
Pop backing out of play.
Somebody was holding up a poster of AJ with the letters up there, and the D was for Dinger.
Enjoying some chow and the Pirates game.
Good chow in this town.
Comebacker to Bastardo. And Antonio works a 1-2-3 bottom of the 7th inning. Let's go to inning number 8 at Coors Field. Pirates up 6-3. Hazleton area. Thanks for watching and rooting on your Pittsburgh Pirates. All of us at Root Sports and the Pirates appreciate your support. Along with Bob Walk and Robbie Smikowski, I'm Tim Neverett. UPMC scoreboard shows 6-3 in favor of the Pirates. We go to the top of the 8th inning. Here in the Mountain Time Zone. You know, this road trip, Bob, Pacific Time Zone, Mountain Time Zone, Central Time Zone in Chicago, then back to the East. We hit every time zone all the way back.
Yeah, that's right. I didn't think about that, did I? 4 time zones.
Left-hander Boone Logan will take over for Scott Oberg. Oberg won an inning and a third. Fourth pitcher used by Walt Weiss tonight. 56th appearance for Boone Logan.
That's why I haven't taken my watch out of my bag, by the way.
You were in L.A. and you asked me if I'd seen your watch.
Yeah, well, I found it.
You couldn't find it. You found it after the game.
Still in the bag.
Yeah, good.
I've decided that I'm not going to be messing, resetting it all the time. Just leave it in the bag.
Mine's been on Eastern time since we left. Gregory Polanco, Andrew McCutchen, and Neil Walker to bat against the left-hander Boone Logan. Up and in. Call a strike, 0-1. Nothing in 2. It is final now in St. Louis. Cardinals winning 3-1 over the Reds. The Bucks have to win here to keep pace, but running out of games. 11 games left after tonight. Ground ball to the left side. Arenado charging. He throws, and it's a bang-bang play, and Polanco's out. Seems like there gets to be a point when you're a fielder in that situation, you realize who's running, and then you speed it up and really put something on that throw. And so Walt Weiss continues the parade. He brings Logan out to get one out. And now coming into the ball game is Justin Miller. Pitching change, timeout in Colorado. A 4.5 game lead for the Cardinals technically. Pirates hang on here. It'll still be 4. 6-3 lead, and Justin Miller comes on to pitch after Boone Logan gets the first out.
Miller not giving up many hits so far.
McCutchen has walked twice tonight. 1 for 2 otherwise. A couple of fly ball outs. 1 to left, 1 to right. Strike 1 to Andrew. Now McCutchen is in a position now, it seems, over the last several games, where he's just got to make the most of what he can get in terms of finding a pitch to hit, because he has not been given many. And the 0-1 now. It's fouled off the catcher Garneau. No balls and 2 strikes to McCutchen. He's had a couple of pitches to hit this at bat and has fouled them both off. Let's see what he gets here from Justin Miller. And a comebacker. McCutchen is 0 for 3. 2 gone in the 8th. Miller gets the first man he faces. You could see DJ LeMahieu coming into the picture. If that ball had gotten past Miller, LeMahieu would have been near second to field it.
Yeah, it would have been pretty much right at him. Wouldn't have made any difference.
It was hit hard enough. So Walker batting left-handed against the right-hander.
Safe catch a few steps.
And Walker rips this one foul. Walker's 0 for 1. Came in for Aramis Ramirez. If you joined us late, Ramirez left the game with soreness in his left groin, tightness in his left groin, so he's being checked out. 0-2 to Walker. With a win, the Pirates will trim the magic number to 1 to clinch a playoff spot. And then they will keep their eye on the giant Padre game. They're in the 4th, no score. Josh Harrison, Jordy Mercer keeping an eye on things.
Padre game going along a nice clip. They won't have to wait long.
I was just checking to see. It looks like Marte has driven in the 4th run of this ball game. Here's a scenario to think about and why that's important. He's on deck, by the way.
All right.
Marte drove in the game-winning runs in the clinching games in 2013 and 14. And if it holds up tonight, this score, and the Pirates clinch, he would do it 3 years in a row. Game 2 of this 4-game series. Pirates' magic number right now is 2. With a win tonight, it would be 1. And then we'll let you know. Stay right here when the game is complete, because the Pirates as a team are going to decide whether to stick around here and watch the end of the San Francisco-San Diego game. We'll let you know if they do that. If they do that, we'll stay here with them. And you want to keep it right here on Root Sports to not only watch the progress of that, but we've got celebration for you as well. Joakim Soria will take over, but we'll let you know when the game is over what the team has decided to do. Charlie Blackmon, the batter. Soria deals inside for ball 1. Andrew McCutchen has been on base twice tonight, but 0 for 3 otherwise. This ball fouled down the right field side. 1 ball and 1 strike. Again, if this score holds up, Marte could do something highly unusual. The pitch. Strike call. 1-2. Blackman went down looking in the 5th. That's up high. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Soria pitched an inning last night. Gave up 2 hits, did not give up a run, and he struck out 1. Soria set to deliver the 2-2 to Charlie Blackman. It's roped to right field. Will it hang up? Nope, it gets down. And Blackman's got himself a leadoff single in the 8th inning. Second hit of the ball game for Charlie Blackman.
Now this game's only a 3-run game, so you can still get a little nervous here. Still a lot of work left to do. 6 outs at Coors Field is not always the easiest thing to get accomplished.
Now batting is Adames, the switch hitting shortstop. Christian Adames had a base hit in the 5th, but that was erased as part of an inning-ending double play. That was hit into by Arenado. The question in Colorado is who is going to end up taking over full time for the departed Troy Tulowitzki. Jose Reyes probably not going to be here all that long.
I'm surprised he's still here. I thought when they got him, I thought they were just going to kind of move him along. That was a lot of the talk. That they would try to get him to somebody that is looking for a shortstop that was in a pennant race. You don't know about rumors and stuff. All that stuff just kind of goes out on the web, and we read it and repeat it.
There's a broken bat roller, foul. Yeah, unless you're in the room.
Yeah, you
when
never know for sure.
You don't know the details. You really
never know for sure.
You can hear all kinds of things, but we were hearing about Carlos Gonzalez being traded and the Mets being a suitor and other teams perhaps, but that never happened. But Troy Tulowitzki, who was the face of this franchise for a while,
you would think there's a lot of things that almost get done that for one reason or not fall through at the end, and you just never know. Never hear about it again.
There he is, strike 3. Adames down on strikes. 1 out for the Rockies in the 8th. Soria gets his first strikeout.
Just brushed the outside part of the plate. One of the little red threads inside of the baseball caught the edge of the plate.
Maybe the shadow of it.
Kind of like the tag at second base earlier.
Yeah. Arenado with a swinging strike, foul ball. Nothing in 1 to Nolan Arenado. He drove in a run in the 3rd inning. That was his league-leading 115th RBI. And the RBI that he recorded, his 20th in the month of September. He has more RBIs than anybody this month. Last time this combination was up was in the 3rd inning, and Blackman stole second uncontested, and Arenado would drive him in. with a base hit. See if Blackmon takes off again. Now 6-3 in the bottom of the 8th inning. Fouled off. And it's 0-2 to Arenado. One man out, one man on. They moved to the 5th in San Diego, still scoreless. Giants and Padres.
Not much going on down there with the offense, so that's why they're whipping through that ball game. By the time this one's over, they might be in the 8th. I would think the guys are going to hang around if that happens.
By the time this one's over, we may be ready to start game 3 tomorrow. Typically long games here anyway.
Last night was, I think, over 3.5 hours, wasn't it? 3:30 something?
3:25.
Oh, 3:25.
Yeah. That was a brief sprint at this part. 3:25. Especially with the way the games aren't here, the Rockies are.
The pitching changes.
The pitching changes over and over, and there'll be more coming still tonight. So 1-2, swing and a miss, and Arenado is out on strikes. Soria has struck out 2 after giving up
Pretty
the
good
leadoff
curveball
single to
there.
Blackmon.
Watch this pitch. Tell me that you can't throw a curveball here.
You can.
Nice sharp break on it right there at the end. Arenado to swing and miss it. You know, part of it is, think of the location of that pitch too. That really is what's been missing a lot. They've been missing. There's been a lot of wildness, a lot of bad location.
Carlos Gonzalez 0 for 3. Struck out looking in the 6th. Cervelli setting up outside. Big cut and a miss. 0-1. Yeah, his last time up when he struck out looking, he got into it a little bit with home plate umpire Brian Knight. Gesturing and saying what he wanted to, and Knight let him go for a while. And Walt Weiss came out to get Gonzalez before he was run. This one down the left field side, and that ball will be fouled. Right near another group of Pirate fans. It's like every foul ball is finding the Bucco fans here at this ballpark tonight. Got a Dave Parker jersey. Two outs, Blackmon at first, and an 0-2 count to Gonzalez. Joakim Soria ready to go. The pitch struck him out. Up and in. He strikes out the side, giving up a hit. Rockies leave 1. We'll go to the 9th. getting ready to raise that. They hope. 6 more outs to go. Top of the 9th inning, 6-3. Pirates with the lead here in Colorado. Glad you're staying up with us here in the Mountain Time Zone. Marte Parte, he drove in the first run of the ball game tonight.
Been a Marte Parte first 2 games here. He's been the man with the bat.
There's Jairo Diaz. He will take over to pitch the top of the 9th inning to Marte and Cervelli to start.
You can call him Medium Diaz.
Not Jumbo.
No, he's medium.
Jairo. Well, compared to Jumbo, he's medium. Marte tonight with a double and a run batted in, a single and a run batted in. Two for 3 tonight. 286 the batting average for the Pirate left fielder. And Diaz steps off. Oh, 1 pitch to Marte. Bounced, and it's 1-1. Most of the games in baseball final. Still a few going on at this hour. Marte fouls this one down the right side and out of play. The Dodgers, who are competing with the Mets for home field advantage, that's what they have to play for. Mets lost to Atlanta 6-2. And the Dodgers losing to the Diamondbacks 1-0 in the 7th inning. Mark Melancon warming up. Diaz ready to deliver the 2-2 to Marte. That's up and in. 3 balls and 2 strikes. The payoff pitch, and this one is hit well toward right center field with Blackman over, and he'll make the catch. We'll get you an update on the Giants and Padres. We send you back to our Root Sports studios for Game Break. Hi, Rob. Thank you very much. So the Giants striking first in San Diego.
Should have known it would be Trevor Brown.
Oh, that's a hard high guy.
Yep.
That's from your high school.
Yep.
Just another one that just rolls out of that baseball factory.
Yeah.
It's amazing. They ever going to build that statue for you at school?
No, there's a lot of other guys they'll build statues for.
Oh.
I'm just one of the little soldiers.
You get a plaque? You get anything there?
I doubt it.
Retired jersey?
No.
Cervelli bangs one to left field, a base hit.
You know how I am. I'm not much for that
They
stuff.
don't have anything of you in a trophy case at Hart High School.
I have no idea.
Nothing.
How would I know? It's
All-star,
2,500 miles away from where I live.
World Series champion. The high school ought to be proud of their alumni.
Well, I'm sure they have something somewhere. I've been on a website.
Sean Rodriguez stepping to the plate for the first time tonight, facing
There's
Diaz.
so many of them, though. You get lost in the shuffle.
I
you know?
guess. Diaz pitch, and Rodriguez bounces one toward third. It'll go foul. Of course, the Pirates have a great prospect from your high school, Tyler Glasnow.
Yeah. I'll see him sometime next year, I would imagine.
I would suspect you're right. That Foul ball city over there, or Souvenir City. It was tossed up in the seats. Ground ball towards second base. LeMahieu. That's not a double play, as Rosario couldn't hang on to the throw from Adames. Cervelli is out on the force out, and Rodriguez reaching on the fielder's choice. Two outs, and Mercer at the plate. Jordy, who had 4 hits last night, 0 for 3 tonight. He's walked and scored a run. And this time he rips it off the glove of Arenado. And that'll be a hit. And Arenado seems to be shaken up.
That hurt him. I think he hit that with his wrist, not his glove.
Keith Duggar, the trainer for the Rockies, is out there quickly to.
Although the way he's been
take
over
a look at him.
Wouldn't seem like it was his wrist. It's almost like it's something else. He's not like holding his wrist funny at all. Did it bounce up and hit him in the head somewhere? I thought it hit him in the wrist.
Might have hit him in the head. Looking at his head, but let's get a look at it. All right,
Yeah,
the
it
heel
hit
of the
him in the
hand.
wrist where I thought it did.
And then he hit his head on the ground.
Oh, he did a little bit of a
Yeah, that's what it
face
was.
plant there. That hurt. Wow, his face just bounced off the dirt. Surprised he didn't skin up his nose a little bit there.
So it doesn't appear as though they're going to take any chances with Arenado. They're getting him out of the ballgame.
Well, why? Why take any chances with him? This time of year?
Here comes Descalso out. Daniel Descalso, the former Cardinal, will now take over at third base. Arenado done for the night. Arenado will head down to the clubhouse. His night is done. Meantime, Jairo Diaz continues to throw, and he will face a pinch hitter in the 9 spot, Travis Ishikawa. And with Ishikawa coming up, Steve Foster, the pitching coach, has to come out and give the scouting report.
Your attention. Pinch hitting for the Pirates in place of the pitcher Soria, number 30, Travis Ishikawa.
Ishikawa getting a chance to hit off the bench tonight. Two men on and 2 out for the Pirates. 5 for 20 as a pinch hitter. And the last time he came up as a pinch hitter was Friday night in Los Angeles and flied out to win the ball game. That was the only game that Dodgers would win. First ball swinging, grounds it to LeMahieu. And that's that. No runs, 2 hits, 2 left. 3 outs to get as we go to the bottom of the 9th. Mark Melancon coming on. The Rockies. Our coverage begins at 8 p.m. with Pirates pregame presented by W.B. Mason on Root Sports. Right-hander Charlie Morton against Christian Bergman tomorrow night. Chicken on the hill with Will. And it's 6-3. Pirates with the lead. And Golden, Colorado's own Mark Melancon will look for yet another save. Number 49 is in his sights. Major league leader in saves.
It'll be fun to see what that final number in that saves column is going to be this year. Obviously, he'll push that well up over the 50 mark.
All-star jersey with Mark Melancon on the back. Can't see it right now, but it's there. He's got a lot of fans in this ballpark. He was happy when we landed here the other night. Back home for him. Wilin Rosario will be the first batter to face Mark Melancon. He swings and fouls it back for strike one. Since becoming the full-time closer for the Pirates. That is a good photo op. Melancon has converted 95 of 105 save opportunities. So his 95 saves tied with Houston Street for third place among major league pitchers, trailing only Craig Kimbrell of San Diego and Greg Holland of Kansas City. One ball and one strike to Rosario. Here's the pitch on the way. And the ground ball is short. Mercer handles it. One gone. Just a reminder to stick with us during the postgame show. We're going to let you know whether or not the Pirates are going to stay here at Coors Field and watch the giant Padre game. They're in the fifth inning. San Francisco with a 1-0 lead, but the Padres now have the bases loaded with one out. A chance not only to tie it, but to perhaps take the lead. And again, stay with us here for Pirates postgame. Pirates could clinch a playoff spot tonight. Washington has done their part. They have lost today to help the Bucks. A strike to LeMahieu. Melancon's pitch. That is a strike. That backed up LeMahieu, but it cut right over that inside part of the plate.
He was able to throw that cutter to both sides. A perfect example of those two pitches of the control that he has, the capabilities, where he goes that cutter one side, the other way, backdoor, he just follows that glove around.
Melancon's 0-2. Struck him out. And Mark with one out to get.
Look at the velocity on that cutter, 93.
It's a vicious pitch.
Even the cutter is very, very aerodynamic here. Low drag.
Not affected by the altitude whatsoever. Pirate fans on their feet. Bucks one out away from win number 91. And to get back to 31 games over 500. They equal their high water mark of the season. Going to take a couple of more RBIs in this one tonight. And the pitch to Corey Dickerson. Pinch hitting for the catcher Garneau. No balls and one strike. Pitch on the way. 1-1. One ball, one strike pitch coming to Corey Dickerson, 3-0-2 hitter. Had a base hit off the right field wall last night. And he takes a pitch that Cervelli holds over the outer corner. Very close pitch. A little bit outside. And the 2-1 now to Dickerson. Broken bat. Shallow fly ball. Polanco under it, and the Pirates win. They've taken the first 2 games of this series, the magic number down to 1. And now they'll await the outcome of the San Diego-San Francisco game. But a victory here tonight for Jay Happ, his 6th in a Pirate uniform. Marte with another good night at the plate, and look at that, down to number 1 for a magic number.
Yeah, really a great game tonight to watch for the Pirates. They played very good baseball. Good pitching by Happ, and I really enjoyed this last bottom of the 9th inning. Watching Melanson come in and not worrying about what ballpark he's in or anything like that, just picking them apart. And it didn't change his pitches at all, but the last pitch he threw, they wanted or Cervelli called for that cutter in on the hands. He put it in there. You could hear the bat shatter. I mean, what a great way to end this, what might be a clinching ball game.
So again, the Pirates back to 31 games over 500. Stay here for Pirates post game, as we will let you know if the Bucs players are going to stay here, and if they are, we'll have coverage of that.